We're back with Paul Hoover, the owner and winemaker for Stillwater's Vineyards, the artisan winemaker, I think, the Aggie who loves to start with good fruit and make great wine. And we're pouring the Merlot, which comes in the mixed shipment for Ruby Shoes this quarter. And I mean, we have to bring it up. Merlot kind of took a bad rap with that little film that they shot down the road sideways. What? 10 years ago or so, 12 years ago, and I mean, Merlot took a hit worldwide over one joke in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, crazy. In fact, you know, Pinot sales went up 67%. So
wow.
It's a crazy thing. And yet, I mean, for the consumer, you know, it's interesting. Wines work backwards from the consumer, so it challenged the whole distribution marketplace in that the wineries then quit trying to fight the other end. So they moved on, they made other things, they did what the consumer wanted.
But we have a rebel here who doesn't have a distributor, so.
Correct. So what you get to do here at Stillwater's is taste the wines before you buy them. And so I think I showed you before, and this was one that you were even concerned about. And I said, well, let's do a blind tasting. And so I did that with you and your staff and said, I'm gonna just have you taste all the red wines. You tell me what's your favorite and what was your favorite.
Merlot.
And so it's so funny when I do that in the tasting room, sometimes people are almost even embarrassed. They're like, well, gee, I guess I shouldn't like that. Such a crazy thing to dispel. So number one, our area, which is called the El Pomar District, it probably mimics the temperatures, the climate, the soils, the things that Merlot loves the best. And so, you know, I don't get too braggy about too many things, but we did 1.5, 2 years ago win at San Francisco International the best Merlot varietals everywhere. And it was a $22 Merlot. And so let's just say the guys in those other places that grow grapes were like, what? And yet, you know, no real shock to, I think, those that understand what can happen with Merlot here. So our Merlot, we've stayed true to the grape. It's one of our favorite varietals, and it is so good with chicken. It's my everyday. I love to go to it.
Barbecue.
I drink it. And I, you know, even at times when people in the tasting room ask me, the winemaker, what's your favorite grape? And I think they expect me to say Cab or Syrah or something. I'm like, you know, I really like Merlot.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? Kenny Volk's first Merlot at Wild Horse, you know, when he was making it back then, that was my favorite wine, and it's kind of come full circle now.
And he back then got most of the fruit from right around here. In fact, this vineyard in the old days went to Wild Horse, in the old days when it was first planted.
So like I'm saying, you're drinking a lot of Paul's grapes, even though you may not be drinking it in a Stillwater label, but when it comes from a Stillwater label, it's about perfection. So cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Paul.